Hey, what's up guys? It's Casey with Intuitive Healing. Today we're doing a pick a card reading. This one is entitled, What Do People Say About You? So this is going to be, I really tapped into when you're not around and your name gets brought up in conversation. Are people saying anything about you? Is it good? Is it bad? Are they talking you up? Are they talking you down? That sort of thing. I did leave it open-ended, so it's not necessarily romantic or anything specific, but we are going to focus in on what do people say about you. So we are going to do an extended on this as well. I'm going to work through the 3 piles, mini readings on each, so if you decide that that reading resonates for you, then you can join me in the extended. All of the description, or all of the links are in the description box below, and you can follow me over there. It's a good time. Also, if you don't want to pay for the single extendeds, I do have a Patreon where if you subscribe for as little as $3 a month, you get all of the extendeds for my pick-a-cards included in that. So if you want to take a deep breath for me, we're going to go ahead and choose one of our piles, whichever one you feel drawn to. The first pile here we have is from the Heaven and Earth Tarot deck. It is the 10 of Pentacles. It also says Wealth here on the bottom. And we have the traditional tarot, Rider-Waite Tarot, with the Strength card for pile 2. And then pile 3, I thought it was interesting, we had the Strength card again, but this is from the Tarot Erotica deck. So again, whichever one you feel called to, whichever one your eyes keep fluttering to, whichever one in your soul you feel like is yours, go ahead and pick that pile and I'll see you in your reading. Alright, hello pile 1, welcome to your reading. If you chose the 10 of Pentacles card, it says Wealth there on the bottom. This reading is for you. So what do people say about my pile 1? We also have the 4 of Wands, which says perfect work. We also have the King of Swords. We have the King of Pentacles. And the Knight of Cups, and at the bottom of the deck we have the Princess of Cups. Okay, this is quite interesting, you guys. Okay, first of all, we do energies here, we don't do genders. However, every once in a while I do tap in on a specific gender. It does feel like there's a lot of men watching this particular pile, I will say. But it doesn't have to be. This can just be a bit of a masculine energy. So overall, what people are saying about you, pile 1, is pretty good in nature, actually. The first and foremost, like people's first sort of impression of you, or maybe not impression, but the first thing that people really tend to bring up when you're not around is the fact that you're a very stable person. So you're someone that has like a very good job, a very good head on their shoulders. I am hearing a lot of like contracting, factory jobs, but whatever the job itself feels, it feels like you've created a steady life for yourself. And I'm also hearing that people tend to talk about you in a way where they're very proud of what you've accomplished, but it feels like it's because like you've pulled yourself up from your bootstraps, right? So when people are what they're saying about you in like a public setting, you know, oh, pile 1, like they really have their stuff together, they're doing really well for themselves, which is really awesome because they were at a point in their lives when they weren't doing so good. And I will say that it feels like that point in your life, pile 1, felt like a relationship. So I would say that people in a group setting are saying, you know, this person, pile 1 really came back from heartbreak, pile 1 really lost it all. Maybe pile 1 lost a lot of financial security and stability within like maybe a divorce that they went through. And now they've really made a name for themselves, right? This pile one. And it feels like that was done through hard work and determination, okay? You very much might be an earth sign, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. Very much feels like Capricorn energy to me. Or you could be an air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. This does also feel very Gemini to me. Doesn't have to be, just kind of the energies that this is invoking, right? And so when people say, okay, okay, pile one's got their stuff together, pile one's come up from heartbreak, like, well, what's going on? What's up with pile one? I would say that the conversation does tend to go a little bit in the, you have the, and now I am saying a little bit like in a romantic sense. Like it feels like if someone was describing you, pile one, to it like another, let's say a woman or some, or a romantic interest, right? They would say, well, pile one is very like secure and they're very good at their job, but they take their job very seriously. Again, this is a very Capricorn energy. So pile one is a very hard worker, and pile one might not exactly hold a lot of time and space for something romantic. That's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing you say. You're very good at your work. You're very analytical. You're very smart. You're very good with your money. Maybe you are somebody who cuts coupons or, goes to Costco. Like they keep showing me my dad, he's really good at like doing the deals and stuff. He's very good at, because we didn't have a lot of money growing up. So now that he has it, it's like this pile one energy, right? It's like now that you have it, it's like you want to make sure that you're spending it appropriately, investing it appropriately, and it feels like whatever sort of relationship that you were in previously, or whatever sort of that rock and a hard place was where you didn't necessarily have that at first, now that you're stepping into that, and it feels like that came from like a romantic place or something, right? Something where emotions were involved, right? Hold on, my energy's getting a little scattered. Whew, okay, so whatever the situation was prior that you've had to pull yourself up from, right, it does feel emotional in some way, because whatever that situation or relationship was taught you, pile one, to be a little less emotional, a little more logical, a little more stable, a little more in the provider energy. So what I'm hearing and seeing is that, when you come up in a crowd or a conversation, and again, it does feel like it's in a romantic way, right? Hey, I have this friend, pile one. Pile one's really cute, they're really stable, they're really secure, like they would make a good husband or wife. But they do just tend to work a lot, and they do, because of their last relationship, they do come off a little bit cold. I will say, pile one, that has been said about you. Now, as Spirit sees it, and I see it, I don't see that as cold. I see that as an energy of you having to, really it was like you wanted to provide, it feels like in the past, either for someone else or yourself, and you just couldn't do it, and maybe we got to a rock bottom point where like you really had no other choice but to stop partying, stop giving to other people, stop spending money, stop, you had to start eating ramen noodles. I don't know, but I see it as a sense of protection, but some other people in your circle do view it as more like a boundary, like you can be closed off, right? But I also feel like, people are very, very quick to talk about how intelligent that you are. And it's not an energy of, like when people are talking about you, like I said, primarily it's a very good energy, pile one. It's very like, you're a very grounding energy, you're very smart, you're very capable. Like you're basically, I just heard the quintessential man. Like you got it all sort of, put together. You have yourself put together, right? And it's not like an in-your-face way. It's not like people are like, oh, he's so smart, or she's so smart, or she's so stable. It's like people value how intelligent you are. I think that that's very much known. There's a lot here about sort of your crown chakra, and it feels clear, honestly. Like you feel like somebody who has a good, and people say about you that you have a good head on your shoulders. You're always thinking clearly. You're always thinking of like the next best step, the next best investment. You know what I mean? It's like your crown chakra is very clear. You're a very intelligent person. You know how to make moves. You know how to plant seeds for the future and for things to grow. You know, maybe you're steadily doing that. Maybe you started in an apartment and you got a little 1-bedroom house, and now you're up to a 2-bedroom house. You got the entry-level job. You worked up to manager. You know, there's very much a sense of progression with you that people are talking about because you did it yourself. It feels there's something very independent about you, Pile 1. Very like you have this 10 of Pentacles energy, which is, you know, generally in the tarot talking about, you know, family and stuff. But with you, it feels more like you got there yourself, and now you're sitting back and you're looking, right? But what I want to say that people say about you, you know, when they're talking about all this, like, and kind of how they end it is what I really like here, and I think what we will go sort of in the extended to talk about, because the extendeds, you know, they kind of get all over the place. Like, we could be talking about what people say about you, and then in the extended we're talking about like a mother-daughter trauma, you know, I don't know. But I think I want to leave you with this, like, I do keep getting a sense of maybe you have a friend that keeps trying to like set you up with people, right? Or maybe you have several friends like that, or maybe this is just an encounter I keep seeing, right? But it does feel like there's a lot of talk and help from your tribe, your community, your friend group to try to get you to date again, Pile 1. That keeps coming out. And so your friends, while they may say, you know, Pile 1 can be a little cold, like Pile 1 can be a little bit of a workaholic, you know, like Pile 1 can be, you know, Pile 1 maybe needs to lighten up a little bit. What they do end it with always is that Pile 1 is a sweetheart. Like Pile 1, maybe you aren't an air sign or an earth sign. Maybe that's just an energy that you feel you've had to work yourself into as a coping mechanism, as a healing mechanism, right? Maybe you're actually a water sign, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, and I keep hearing Cancer because deep below all of that, even though you are doing it by yourself, even though you're capable and you're stable and you're strong and you're grounded, like you are still very much looking for love. You're still very much wanting to give to somebody, to share what you have with somebody. You also feel like somebody who would let your partner not even work. You know what I mean? Like you're such a nurturer and a provider that I think it got you burned in the past. And so what people are saying when they're talking about you is, you know, yes, Pile 1 has been burned in the past, and yes, you know, Pile 1 maybe not be focused on love right now. Pile 1 may be only focused on themselves and their growing and their healing and their money, but deep down, Pile 1 is the sweetest, kindest person and would make you the happiest person in the world, and you should give them a shot. Bam! That's what people are saying about you, Pile 1. That's beautiful energy. I love it. So now I'm going to go into the extended, and I do want to talk about a little bit about this past relationship. So I'm going to try to keep it around the like, so what are people saying in regards to the past relationship and this new kind of love we're looking for. But like I said, extendeds kind of go all willy-nilly, and what you need to hear is what'll come out. But I do have the Knight of Cups and the Princess of Cups. With the Two of Swords behind that, which I find super interesting. So I want to tap into this energy in the extended, who this sort of, if you are male watching, this woman that we're sort of looking for, or maybe we found is coming to us. Because this doesn't feel like the past person. This feels like a new love interest coming in for you, Pile 1. So I want to dabble in that, and I want to see what people are saying about your love life, because people do seem to be talking about your love life, Pile 1. It's here. So let's dive deeper and see what the fuck that's all about. See you there. Bye. Hello, Pile 2. If you chose the traditional Rider-Waite with the Strength card, this reading is for you. So today we are looking into what do people say about you? And like I said, in the other piles, this is not really specific to like a romantic interest or family or anything like that. I kept it very open-ended. But in general, what are people saying about you? Pile 1 took an interesting turn, so let's get started in yours though. What are people saying about my pile 2? What do people say or talk about pile 2? We have the 7 of Cups. We have the 10 of Swords. Death card. Eight of Swords. And the 4 of Pentacles. What are people saying about you, pile 2? I'm getting a couple of different things actually, I will tell you. The first one I'm getting is, I believe that the friends that you have, the people that you would consider people that are close to you and that you care about, those people, when they're speaking about you, they speak with such a level of respect for what you've been through. And what I'm also hearing, and I find interesting, is I don't think that those friends tell you that, pile 2, enough to your face. I'm very much being made to feel like this beautiful respect that they have for you and how they talk about, you know, pile 2's been through so much and been hurt so much, and I can't believe that they still have the strength to keep going every single day. Those types of things, it feels like, are what you actually need to hear. And I feel like what you came to this reading like hoping people felt about you, but they're not saying it to your face. And, you know, I think that that's an interesting dynamic. I think that that dynamic is clearly, you know, within your friends and why they're not saying that to you, because the intention is here that they clearly do feel. You know what I'm getting from you, pile 2? You feel like somebody who needs to be heard and understood. So when you're talking to like a friend or anybody, but like when you're talking to a friend and maybe they're misunderstanding what it is that you're saying, or misunderstanding what it is that you're trying to do. Like, for example, if I'm telling my friend, if I'm just like, oh, are you nervous because she said this one thing, but then the friend gets all defensive, like, well, you're saying that I'm like upset about this, and I'm like, no, like, I'm just like asking you, I'm just like trying to carry on a conversation. Anyways, my point, Spirit's got me off on a tangent, is there seems like there's a level of like needing to be understood by you, and like there's a sense of not being understood. And so you're very much someone, pile 2, who like will almost argue to the death the 5 different ways in which you can be understood. And I'm hearing like, let it breathe. I do think that there is somebody in your life, pile 2. And I do think that this person, when they talk about you, this is what they're talking about. And I do feel like they have a confidant, maybe like a mother or somebody that they're like talking to about you. But I don't think that this person is necessarily like talking about you. This feels very like, honestly, between you and this person, the energy feels very like you both know it's there, but you don't want to say it. But there's like a need to, this is almost turning into more of like, what would they say to you as opposed to what do they say about you, but I will get into that. But this is almost more of a like, they would say to you that like, tension is a little high right now. Whether, excuse me, for like all of the things that you're going through in your life. And so this is what they would say about you. Like, it feels like this person has a confidant, somebody they're talking to, and saying that like they understand, pile 2, your struggle. They understand the things that you've gone through and the hurt that you've been through because they were there through it with you. And so this, I think what they're saying about you is that sometimes they feel a little in your shadow. I was hearing jealousy, but it doesn't fully feel like jealousy to me. It just feels like this is a friendship or a partnership or something where it should be, or romantic even, but it should be an equal give and take between the two of you, but somebody's trauma, somebody's personal struggles is overshadowing the other person's, which is causing the both of you to not really know how to discuss it with one another. So you're both kind of like in your minds over this. Now, that sort of side note, which maybe we should get into in the extended, because what's that about? But like I said, there's a couple of things here. The other is you come across as an extremely, extremely strong person. Like somebody who has seriously been through hell and back. I don't know if you've fought addictions, if you've fought delusions, if you've had abusive relationships, if you've been homeless even. There's just a lot, or at least one huge, a divorce even, like one huge thing that you've been through that people, when you are brought up in a crowd, what people talk about is like, that all feels public. So whatever you went through feels like people know about that. Like people have seen you at your worst, pile 2. And again, I think that's why you're here, wanting to see if they see you in that bad light or they see you in a good light. And I'm here to tell you that they've seen you at your worst, and they do see how you are trying to start over. They see that you are trying to better yourself in some way. And again, this doesn't have to be like a crazy addiction or something, though I am seeing that it can be. It could just be like you don't have very much luck in love, but and you've been hurt, but there's a want to start over. There's a need to, and even though you're sort of in your head about this, like what people are talking about is your strength and your tenacity to keep going. I'm hearing like you've just been trampled on so much, and you've been told no so many times, and you still just like completely blind and oblivious to what could possibly happen. You just keep fucking moving forward. People also talk about how you are with money, I'm getting, and so I don't know if handling money in the past was difficult for you, pile 2, or you just have, maybe it was a shopping addiction or something, right? But I'm hearing right now that people are noticing that you're more, this is kind of like pile 1 too, to be quite honest. People are noticing you're more just like focused on trying to be stable and provide for yourself. And I would say that people say that about you a lot as well, pile 2, is that you are a very ultra independent person, sometimes to a fault. I just heard most times to a fault you're ultra independent. You don't know how to ask for help. You would rather just the ceiling cave in on you and you die, then like ask somebody for $20 for gas money. So there's something with that as well here. So, you know, overall what people would say about you, you know, the best friend even, or whoever it is that you're sort of having a tizzy with, and just in general, is that pile 2, your pain is actually noticed. So if you think that this has all been sort of like a silent battle that you've been suffering, you do have, you know, people watching you, you do have people encouraging you and cheering you on. However, those people are doing it from a sheltered place, from a I don't want to get too close place for whatever reason that may be. Pile 2, that's not exactly coming through. Maybe it'll come out in the extended, but you've just been through so much, and what you have, you're somebody who, because you've come from nothing, and because you've just had all of these chaotic things happen to you in your life, pile 2, bless, I'm so sorry. You're really grateful for what it is that you have now. Like, it's this 4 of Pentacles of like not wanting to like let go, right? But the energy I'm feeling with it, and with you, pile 2, is not so much of like greed and like not wanting to share wealth. It's gratitude. It's understanding that I didn't have anything, and I didn't have people around me, and people do always, you know, tear me down. So all I really have is myself and the emotions and the lessons that I've learned along the way, you know? And again, I'm taken back to that original person that you may be having an issue with, a friend or family member, something. And I think that in your spiritual evolution, in your journey of learning those things about you and becoming more grateful and understanding of how the universe works, and how to learn from your fucked up past, you know, that's sort of, people sometimes feel intimidated, I guess is what I'm saying, pile 2, because they feel like you outshine them. Like they can't just, and it's your aura, pile 2. It's a beautiful aura. It's nothing to be ashamed of. You're a healer. Like, you have no choice but to continue to heal and provide for yourself, and that intimidates people a little bit. And I'm just on a rampage, you guys, because your aura suggests that they need to heal at the same rate that you are, and it's not even anything that you're saying. It's just that energy you're putting out. People want to live up to the standard and strength that you project. And it's a lot to live up to. So people sometimes feel overshadowed, I guess, by your journey and your healing. And there is someone in your energy that's kind of like keeping that to themselves. So I think I'm going to get into that in your guys' extended. As I was saying in the other piles, it's, you know, the extendeds can kind of go all over the place. I really am trying to focus on what do people say about you, but you know, some stuff has come out, and I think it's beneficial to kind of look into that. So I want to see a little bit more about like what all this stuff that you've been through was, how it pertains to maybe a certain relative or a friend right now that you may just not be seeing eye to eye with, and what they're saying and what people are maybe saying about that situation. I think that might be helpful for us. So if I lose you here, I hope that this reading resonated for you. I hope that there was a lesson at least in there for you or myself. And if none of the above, I hope it was entertaining for you. If you did enjoy it, please leave me a like, a subscribe, and a share, as it does help push my content out there. And if you're interested, I do have a Patreon for as little as $3 a month. You can get daily messages. So that's a really good deal. Hi, pile 3. If you chose the Erotic Tarot Strength card, this reading is for you. Quite the interesting couple of reads, pile 1 and pile 2, where you did have the same Strength card as pile 2. But that was quite the interesting message. It is quite the spilling of the tea, I will say. I do think your pile is going to be a little bit different. I think that your pile's strength, yes, I am in different outfit. These readings take a lot out of me, and this isn't the only thing I do, so this is the next day. I apologize. But your strength really, I feel like comes from a different place than pile 2's. I have just some basic ass green tea if you're interested. Before I start speaking here, let me get some cards. So today we're talking about what do people say about you? What do people say about pile 3? This has gone every which way, I will tell you. This has gone romantic, this has gone friendship, this has gone family, so we'll see what comes with pile 3. But in general, what are people saying about pile 3? What do people say about pile 3? Louise. 12:21 on the clock, that might mean something to you. What do people say about pile 3? There's a lot of 2's here. 2, 2, we had 12:21, now we have 12:22 right as I said that. So 222 might be significant to you. Or 111, we have a lot of angel numbers here. What do people say about pile 3? Pile 3, what do people say about pile 3? This is kind of more the energy I thought all of these readings were going to take, I'll be quite honest with you, so do whatever you want with that information, pile 3. Pile 3, what's up? What they would say about you, what people do say about you, really. So the other piles was more of like, it was interesting. It was like I was zoning in on like one specific person was saying this about you. You pile 3, you got it going on. Okay. Everybody's talking about you. Everybody's talking about you in a very good way, actually. People see you as very strong, and like I said, different from pile 2. Your strength comes from pure courage. So I don't know if you're a Leo or possibly a Libra, but those 2 signs are coming out strong to me. But there's like there's a mysteriousness to you, there's an elegance to you. I do very strongly feel like I'm speaking to women, gender specifically, but not necessarily. It could just be a divine feminine energy. But your energy is one that is very balanced within the masculine and the feminine energies. So while you come across and people just describe you as being very beautiful, very, very graceful, very alluring and mysterious, people also see you as very like grounded and very logical, what keeps coming to mind is blunt. Like, people be talking about you, pile 3, like you got a mouth on you, okay? Like, you are not afraid to speak your mind, you're not afraid to tell the truth, you're not afraid to stand up for what you believe in. I'm also hearing like just causes, like Black Lives Matter, LGBTQ. Like, you seem very level-headed, you seem very put together, you seem to other people like you don't fucking need anybody. You carry your strength, at least how other people are perceiving you and talking about you, through what you are able to balance. So I don't know, it feels like, pile 3, you have an extremely demanding job. Like, maybe you're like a nurse practitioner, maybe you are a lawyer, maybe you are, I don't know, just whatever sort of job. It doesn't even have to be high paying, low paying, it doesn't matter, but whatever your job is feels extremely demanding of you. Not only in your time, though it does feel like you're working more than an 8-hour day, every day, more so than time, it's also taking your sorry if you hear my dog in the background, your energy, right? Like you're giving to people all day long. And then pile 3, I don't know if you have children, but that's coming through very strongly, or a husband or a wife, but something that you go home to after you've spent all day working and giving your energy, you go home and then you have to do it at home as well. Even if you live alone, pile 3, there's just an energy of like, now you gotta go home and you gotta mow your lawn and you gotta cook yourself some dinner, because if you don't do it, who's gonna do it? You're gonna starve. Nobody's gonna pull your weeds. You know what I mean? So when people talk about you and they're talking about your strength, pile 3, they're really discussing like how you're doing all of this. Like it's apparent, whether you're discussing that with people or not, that like you have a lot of responsibilities, that you take your work very seriously, that you take your home life very seriously, that anything that you put your mind to, you demand success from it. They talk about how you're you feel like someone who's very action oriented to me, someone who goes after what they want. So if you say I want to learn French, you learn how to learn French. You learn how to learn French. Okay, let's school, Casey, school. Rewind. If you want to learn how to do a kickflip, you just learn how to do a kickflip. You know what I mean? Like you are somebody who has action towards your passions, and people talk about that. And what I think throws people for a loop too is how intelligent you are about it. It's like if you want to do something, you don't like if you want to open a store, pile 3, you don't just like boop, open a store. Like you have written a business plan, you have found investors, you have researched who you're going to get your wholesale stuff from, you have looked into an accountant and how much a lawyer costs for a retainer, like what sort of city permits do you need, and you do all of that before you even do the passion, the hobby, the trick, the new job. And because you've done all this research, you have extreme clarity in every single thing that it is that you do. And so when people talk about you, they're like, yes, pile 3 is a go-getter. Yes, pile 3 sticks to what they believe in. If they say they're going to do something, they're going to do it. You know, like maybe this is you work a full-time job and you said, you know what, I'm going to go back to school. And you fucking went back to school full-time, and people saw that. And you kept your head down and worked, and you're working hard at both of the... Pile 3, you're juggling 2 things, whatever it is, work and home life, something. You're juggling. And people see that within you. People wonder how you do that. People wonder why you don't feel trapped in it when they do. When it's so hard for them, how is it that you can do it? But again, unlike pile 2, your strength is like it's like an innate courage. I'll be honest with you, pile 3. Like you feel very powerful to me. You feel like someone who speaks their mind, and that's always been in you. It's like when people are like, you know, I wish I could be more outgoing like you or outspoken like you. Like how do you do it? Like to you, that's like a weird thing to ask because it just happens naturally. You know what I mean? It's just like in your nature to wrestle the beast. People talk about you as having this just ooze of sexuality about you, and there's something, and they keep showing me it as one energy, which is hard to explain to you, but is 2 things, which is sexuality and intelligence. And it's interesting because they're like, you don't even have to speak, people just like know this about you. People can just feel this about you. There's something very natural about you as well. Now they're taking me on to looks. Like, I feel like you guys have, I'm seeing brown hair, black hair, strawberry blonde hair, but it feels wavy, or it feels like kinky curly. It feels, or looks just very natural. You have a very natural beauty about you. I'm hearing you're someone that looks like a 10 but doesn't have to wear makeup to do it. Again, it feels like I'm primarily talking to a female audience, but it doesn't have to be, you know, men. If you You could like shave your face and do all of the stuff you guys do, but like you don't have to, because you're just someone who's very naturally handsome. And people talk about how a lot of people, I'm hearing, miscategorize you. So I'm actually hearing it both ways, which I find is interesting. So if you're someone who struggles with everybody just coming across to you as very sexually, right? Like, oh my God, you're so beautiful, you're so sexy, like, can I take you out, whatever. People do actually, because I feel like you're like, no, fuck you, I'm an intelligent person, like, get the fuck out, and you're blunt as hell. So you're like, no, don't talk to me. And people do like talk about how you do that, and how, you know, they mistook you. That you're not just this sexy, cute face, you're actually very intelligent and very wise, and it's going to take a whole lot more than, hey baby, how you doing, to come at you. But I'm also seeing it, you guys, in the reverse. I'm very strongly, actually, for pile 3, you seem like somebody who's very sort of put together, very sort of, innocent's not the word I want to use, but not overtly sexual, not promiscuous, you know, just someone who's very natural, very earthy, very whatever. But people also talk about, they mistake you for that, because I'm hearing closet freaks. So, you know, we did pick the erotica deck, you guys. We did pick the erotica deck. There's also something with your thighs that people find extremely sexy about you. People talk about that. People do talk about you, I will say, pile 3, in a very sexual way. Whether they're coming at you that way or not, whether you are overtly sexual or not, people do talk about wanting to be with you, and I really feel like it's coming from a place where, because you are the whole package, you are both brains and beauty, you know what I mean? And sometimes in one case or the other, you don't really see how smart or how beautiful you are, and that is, or like how, yeah, and like that's a turn on to people. Also, like I'm seeing and hearing, like, there's this naivety to you that, like, you would literally walk up to a tiger and try to pet it. Like you're such an empathic, like, sweet person, like, oh, we'll pet the tiger, you know, like making friends with a narcissist because, like, you understand the psychology behind it. You know what I mean? Like, there's, and people find your ability to just blend in and nurture and stimulate the mind all at the same time extremely fucking alluring. I will tell you that. I will tell you that. Everyone's like, pile 3, pile 3, I want a pile 3. So I'm going to leave that here for now. I think in the extended, we're going to go more into this sort of like, what do people say about you sexually? That didn't come up in the other 2 piles, so this pile is unique for that. But I'm just feeling like a collective energy of like, people just very much romantic interest in you guys, whether you know that or not. But even just like men, women, family, everybody just very much thinks very highly of you. And they do feel the same as like the people that are romantically interested in you, right? They feel like you're strong, they feel like you're balancing, they feel like you're a go-getter. So I think the more fun one here would be to tap into the sexual prowess of all of it. So I'll see you in the extended. The link is in the description box below. Also note, if you're not a Patreon subscriber yet, you can subscribe to my Patreon and you get all of the extendeds included in that. It's only $3 a month. And if you like this video, if you give me a like, subscribe, and a share, that would be dope. That helps push my free content. I am open for private readings as well. All of that, again, is in my link tree. All my social media contents, everything in my link tree description below. So I will see you in the extended.